Low key, every time I went viral, it was like the worst shit ever. It was not good. It did not go the way I thought it would. But I'm gonna talk about that more in a second because it had me thinking like I went viral multiple times on TikTok, but I'm constantly thinking like, should I start my page over? Should I start from zero? So if I had to start my brand over, these are the mistakes I would avoid. And the reason I'm making this video is because one, I went viral multiple times and almost every time it was not the result I wanted. It was not a good going viral. It wasn't something that helped my brand. It wasn't something that made it better. It made some sales. It got a couple sales, but it didn't help me the way I wanted it to in the long run. And because I know for quite some time, there were a lot of business owners, a lot of creators that paid to get followers or paid to get engagement, whether it was so they can get a check or that for the status, for the look, whatever the reason. There have been people who've paid to get followers or paid somebody on Fiverr or one of these different websites that pay for organic reach. And now they have a page where they have 50,000, 100,000 followers, but they're only getting one comment and 5 likes on each one of their reels. It's like, where are all these people? You don't just amass a group of 50,000 people that have absolutely no interest in what you're posting. It doesn't make sense. So there are probably going to be a lot of people who are trying to decide on whether or not they should start their page over. I can't tell you what to do. I can't tell you whether that's the right move or what you should or shouldn't do. I know if I paid for my followers, I would probably start from zero because I'd have a much better chance at building a solid brand and building a cohesive brand than I would working with a bunch of bot followers or people who don't engage with my content because it's going to limit your reach or keep showing it to people who are going to give you bot comments. But that's neither here nor there. But this video, if I was to start over, these are the mistakes I would avoid because these are the mistakes I made. And this is my warning. This is my caution to make sure you don't make mistakes because I tried it. Doesn't work. That was a really long intro, but real quick before I get into it, for anybody that doesn't know or if you're new here, my name is Marvelle. I'm a personal brand and content strategist. I help content creators and entrepreneurs grow their audience on social media and get more clients. Anyway, if that type of content sounds interesting or if you want to see more of it, hit the subscribe, hit a like, do a thing, or not. It's your call. But if I was starting my brand over, if I was starting from zero, these are the mistakes that I would avoid because these have caused me so many headaches and I don't wish these upon you. So avoid these if at all possible. The first thing we'll be doing is creating multiple pages. Horrible, horrible idea. And I don't know if I did it because I thought that my business needed its own second page, which in certain cases, I'll talk about that in a second, in certain cases, it would make sense to create a business page. But for the most part, you already have audience. You already have momentum on the page you have. And I know it's easy to fall into that trap of, oh, people don't want to see that. People aren't interested in my business, whatever. With all due respect to your auntie and your cousins, fuck them. Fuck all of them. Block them if you need to, remove them if you need to, but that should not stop you from doing what you want to do because that's not your audience now. They may have been your audience when you were just doing updates about your life or posting stuff from the family event. Maybe that's what they wanted to see, but now you're shifting directions. You have a new purpose in life. You are being called somewhere new. You and your page is a reflection of that. And if you want to use it to its maximum benefit, if you want to be able to monetize your audience, if you want to be able to grow your brand and get brand deals and do things like that, it's much easier starting from step 10 than it is from step 0. So if you already have a page, and real quick, because I know there's gonna be some people who's like, well, what about the stuff that I posted before? I got like party stuff and drinking stuff. Now it becomes a decision for you. So for me, I started multiple pages. I have my personal page, which I posted a lot of my life on, like me going out, turning up, stuff like that. But I was also posting quotes and things like that, things that still might be relevant to my audience, but they weren't my target audience for the business that I was building when it came to my marketing. Where I messed up is I had my personal page, but then I also created a page for my photography stuff. Then I also created a page for my digital marketing stuff. Then I also created a page for my podcast. But then I also created a page for my clothing line, which eventually turned into the marketing stuff. I created all these different pages and then had to start building an audience from scratch. Getting momentum is the hardest part. Is just getting started because that's when you're going to see the most resistance. That's when it's going to be the hardest. You're going to see the least results from your actions. People aren't going to be there to see what you're doing. So it's kind of like you're just posting for nobody. That sucks. So if you have a personal page where maybe it's not a bunch of partying and drinking, and if it's not a bad reflection of the person you're trying to be, if it doesn't reflect you in a bad way, start with the page. Start with the page you already have. If you're worried about your family or people not liking it or people not being interested, don't worry about them. Now you're shifting into a new direction. It's going to be a little hump. It's going to be a little psychological getting over that, but the faster you can get over that, the easier it is to grow. And generally what happens is once you start showing an interest in it, once you start showing that you're working on this project, you're passionate about it, like this is what you're focused on now, most people are going to be accepting and supportive of that. It becomes our own thinking and our own little voice in the back of our head that's telling us, oh, they don't want to see this, they don't care about this, they're not interested in that. If they're not, fuck them. If they are, cool, use that as fuel. If you don't want to continue with this page, whether it was from a lifestyle that you used to live that you don't really like that anymore, that doesn't represent the brand that you wanted to, that's fine. Start a new page, but start one page. Only start one page. I started a new page, and this is still something I regret to this day. I didn't want to leave my old page and tarnish what I built over there, but that also meant I had to leave that page. Like I literally stopped checking that page. I stopped posting on that page. That page is like, it's done. I don't post on that. If you're going to start a new page for your brand or for your business, it needs to be your main focus. It needs to get all your energy. You can't be trying to post between both, because that was the other thing I did. I was trying to go back and forth, posting on both, still maintaining both these lifestyles or both these brands, as opposed to building it under one cohesive place and building it the way it should have been built. The only instance where I would say build a business, create a business page separate from your own, is if you already know, or if you're going into it knowing that you don't want to be the face of the brand, and ideally you would like to sell the business. If you go into it knowing that, you don't have to like build it with the personal brand, you don't have to be the face of it, but there's going to be a tweak. There's going to be some differences that come with building a faceless brand. That's a little different. Tends to require more capital up front, because you have to pay to get past all the other content that's being put out by the personal brands and by the creators out there, or pay for influencer marketing, collaboration, things like that. It usually requires some type of upfront where you have a way to supplement the content that you're not going to be posting by being the actual person running the page. But it's possible. You can do it if you know that you're going to sell the business. If you don't want to be the face of the business, cool, start another page. But I still recommend devoting all your time and attention. Don't try and juggle the dude. Don't try and balance between running this page and running your old page, or staying active on both. It's going to drain you. It's a lot of work. It's not worth it. Just focus on building the one page. Give it like a year. Give it a year to 2 years of just focusing on that. You'll be much happier than if you would have tried to maintain your old page. Promise you. Promise you. What they say in Drumline, one band, one sound. Next thing I will make sure to avoid is not posting enough. As new business owners, as new like people into the social media content creator entrepreneur space, we underestimate the amount of times you need to see something or you need to come in contact with it. I know they used to say for marketing you need 7 touch points, or it's like 7 interactions before somebody's willing to buy from you. But with social media where it is now, and how often we're changing topics and seeing new faces and seeing new things, you need it is probably closer to about 50 to 60 now. It's much higher need for interaction before you get to the point where somebody is willing to trust you. Of course, there's going to be exceptions to those rules. There's going to be people who see one piece of content, like one YouTube video, and be like, I'm ready to buy, or like, I'm ready to swipe my credit card. But more than likely, 9 times out of 8, it's going to be they need to consume a lot more of your content. I literally had somebody who I sent them a DM just saying, hey, what's up? Just checking to see if you're looking for some marketing, some help with your marketing on social media. And she didn't respond. She didn't say anything, but she started watching my content. She started watching my stories. She consumed my content for a month before she responded, was like, hey, I just had to make sure you were a real person, you weren't scamming people. I was like, that's fine. That's one of the benefits that comes with putting out content, building the brand, especially with you as the face of the brand, is that people get a chance to interact, and they get the chance to build this relationship with you by consuming all the content you're putting out and seeing your face on a daily basis, hearing your voice, interacting with you, getting to the point where they're familiar. Once you're familiar with something, you're much more likely to buy it. It's the same reason we go to the same restaurants, we buy the same thing, we eat the same foods, because we're familiar with it. We know this is good. We know this is safe. This is my stuff. When you try and get somebody to try something new or try something they've never tried before, sometimes it can be like, just try this shit. Like, it can be frustrating trying to get them to open up. That's because people are rooted in comfort. People like to be comfortable. So when you can be comfortable, be something that they're familiar with, be something that they know they're going to see on their timeline and interact with and engage with and enjoy, they're much more likely to trust you and move forward with that relationship. All right. And I know some people will say like, oh, what am I going to post? Like, I don't know what to post. And they fall into this like trap of only posting about their products, only posting about their services, not really posting themselves. But if anything, like over the past 5 years, social media should have taught you is that people relate to people. People connect with people. Like, you can't tell me one celebrity that just like everybody knows that has come to a rise in the past 5 years. Like anybody that's like really known worldwide, they were famous before like the past 5-10 years, like Drake, Lil Wayne, things like that. People kind of surpass culture. But the people, anybody that's gotten famous, especially from like the social media content age, they're a lot less recognizable, but they're still getting paid. They're still making money. They're still growing brands. They're still doing deals, getting opportunity, but they no longer have to be household names to see the success that you need to see. It's no longer, I need to be in a movie with Denzel to like become famous. Now I can just go stream on Twitch and just be there, show up every day and build this audience of people who fuck with me. And I can do everything that I want. I can live the life that I want. I can go invite Offset over for a sleepover. Like that's where we're at with technology and social media and content. All right. But I say that people connect with humans. People connect with people. You don't have to put on this manicured, super curated like idea of what you think people want to see or people want to interact with. People interact with real people and people connect with real people. People want to feel connected. We're at our most disconnected time ever, even though we have all this technology and stuff keeping us connected. We feel so alone and so by ourselves and so isolated. So people want to feel connected. People want to feel involved and a part of something. And you building a strong personal brand, a community where y'all have this similar goal, y'all have these similar ideals, it makes them feel connected and they appreciate that. So they want to support you. The third thing I would avoid, this fucked me up so many times. I call it SOS. If you saw Up, right? The movie with the super sad intro, make motherfuckers cry. Like, anyway, if you saw Up, you remember the dogs, right? Remember the dogs? They'll be mid-conversation, have a full conversation, all of a sudden, squirrel. Like, just get distracted, right? Lose focus. That fucked me up so many times. Like even just what I told you earlier, from photography to DJing to podcasting to marketing to clothing, like I did so many things and never looked at them like failures. I never looked at it like I failed in any aspect, but I knew they never saw the success that they should have or they could have from the energy I put in, like how creative it was. What I saw it being, I know it didn't live up to its potential. And the reason behind that is because I always got distracted and moved on to something else instead of staying consistent with something for years and years and years. Like I said earlier, we don't realize how much momentum and how much it takes to really get the ball rolling. So by not being able to commit to something for longer than 6 months or a year, it never allowed me to see it reach its full potential to really fully develop and turn it into what it was meant to be. And this happens a lot to people who are multi-passionate or good at a lot of different things. You feel like, oh, I could succeed in that, or I could succeed in that. I could figure that out. Because you know you have the ability to figure shit out. You know you have the ability to, that may be new to you, that might be something new, but if you give me a second, like I can figure it out, I'm gonna get that shit down. So we feel like because we're naturally gifted at these things that we can succeed at all these different areas and all these different opportunities. And that's not wrong. That's not false. You can succeed at all of those different opportunities. The problem is when you try to succeed at all of these different areas, you end up succeeding at none. You know what they say, jack of all trades, master of none? Because you try and spread yourself so thin, you are not allowing yourself to give 100% to any one lane. So you end up lacking in consistency and discipline and follow through because you're being pulled in so many different directions by yourself. You're literally putting yourself in all these different directions and you can't maintain them the way they need to be. Remember, like I said, you need a lot more touch points. You need to be in front of your audience a lot more to get that recognition, to get that point where they're familiar with you. So you're not able to really focus and give the value that you need to when you're trying to do hair and do nails and be an esthetician and sell tummy tea and do affiliate marketing for Fashion Nova. Like when you're in all of these different pockets, it's hard to see success with one. Instead, you're kind of just penny, nickel, and diming from all these different areas as opposed to having one main focus that's really driving all the revenue that you need. So being multi-passionate, being gifted in a lot of areas or being able to pick up a lot of different things is good, it's nice, but the real skill comes from being able to focus on one and constantly build on that and not getting distracted by all these different things because there's always going to be something new to come along. The real mastery comes from focusing on this one topic or this one subject and sticking with it for months and years and years and years until you see success. That's what it comes down to. And doing that can be hard. I say that like it's easy, but it's really not. So, and that brings me to the next thing that I want to avoid at all costs, because a lot of times what we're doing is not necessarily hard. It's all it is watching a YouTube video and putting stuff together or figuring out a website or figuring out this new platform. It's not that what we have to do is hard. It's that we make it hard on ourselves. And we do that a lot of times by not even believing we're able to, or feeling like we're not ready, feeling like we haven't learned enough, or we haven't studied enough, we haven't practiced enough for me to be doing this, for me to be talking about this on camera, for me to be selling this ebook, for me to be like, for whatever it is, we always have this idea that I'm not good enough. And it comes from that little voice in the back of your head that's just constantly talking and nagging and telling you all this bullshit, saying if people question it, what if people don't like it? That voice in the back of your head will talk you out of greatness. So you really have to tell it to shut the fuck up. You have to tell it to shut the fuck up, because if you don't, it's just gonna keep getting at you and keep nagging at you. You have to find a way to control that. What I suggest to everybody, usually when they tell me they have this issue, or they dealing with that and they're questioning themselves and these thoughts keep coming up like, oh, people gonna laugh, things like that, that imposter syndrome, the way to really help get in control of that and really reel that in is by meditating. It's by spending 5-10 minutes meditating every day, because that teaches you to get in control of your thoughts. That teaches you to be able to control where your thoughts are going, reel them back in where they're going somewhere that you don't like. If you never meditated before, it can feel really intimidating. But the best thing you do is start off with like guided meditations, whether on YouTube or there's an app called Headspace. Put a link to it in the bio. Works really well. That's what I started off with. And I remember maybe one of the last times I used it, I was up to like 900 minutes of meditation, like just from using the app. It helped me to meditate for like almost 1,000 minutes. And that having that control of your thoughts and being able to stop them when they're going in places that you don't like it really helps. It's really beneficial, especially when it comes to moments where you're self-sabotaging, where you're standing in your own way, where you're talking yourself out of being great, when you're talking yourself out of not recording or not creating or not doing outreach, when you're talking yourself out of these things and you have to really like snap yourself back into it and redirect those thoughts. Meditating is really powerful when it comes to that, and really helpful with being able to reel those thoughts in. Just putting that out there. You don't have to, but it's helpful. I'm just saying. And the reason why getting in control of your thoughts, and I like to call it you talking nice to yourself. You have to talk nice to yourself. The reason that's important is because the more of those voices in the back of your head tell you can't do something and that you aren't good enough, stuff like that, the more that voice tells you that, the less you believe in yourself. And if you don't believe in yourself, you're not willing to invest in yourself. And that was something I held out on for a long time. I was getting all this free information, getting all the free ebooks, free courses, free guides, getting all this free stuff, but I never invested into a program. I never spent $100 on a challenge. I never spent $5,000 on a coaching program. Like there was a long time when I wasn't willing to invest in myself, because I didn't believe, one, that you were going to help me do what you say you're doing, but also I didn't believe that I would be able to do it. Especially when you're in a situation where somebody's guaranteeing you, like, if this doesn't work, like, I'll give you your money back, like, if this doesn't work. Because we always approach these situations thinking like, oh, there has to be a scam, this can't be real, like, all this, whatever. We have what is called a scarcity mindset. You think everybody's out to get you, or there's only a limited amount of resources. I got to get mine before they get theirs type shit. And that's very limiting. It holds you back from a lot of potential opportunities where you can literally change your life, but you don't take the step forward. And you say it's because, oh, this might be a scam, oh, this not real, whatever. But they're literally telling you like, yo, if this don't work, I'll give you your money back. Like, it's in the contract. Like, there's full refund guaranteed. Like, so is it really the money, or is it that you don't believe that you'll be able to do it if you paid for it? That becomes something different. You're avoiding paying for the stuff that's really going to help you, that's really going to help you move the needle, because you're trying to save money, or you feel like, oh, this is probably a scam, I don't want to invest, I'm gonna wait till I find the right one. But it's like, at the end of the day, all you're doing is just wasting a bunch of time waiting to find the right one, thinking that magically somebody's going to pop up and say the exact right things that you need to hear. If you don't believe in yourself enough to invest in yourself, whether that's getting tools, whether that's getting coaching, whether that's paying for a system, like, if you don't believe in yourself enough to invest in you, why do you think that other people should believe in you enough to invest in you? You have to believe in yourself. That's why success, it all starts with the mindset. It all starts with belief in yourself and believing that anything is possible. Because if you don't believe it, why would anybody else? If you can explain that, if you can make that make sense, put it in the comments, because I'm curious. If you don't believe in yourself, why would other people believe in you? Why should they invest in you? Put it in the comments. Just let me know. I'm curious. But yeah, that's all I got for y'all. Make sure y'all avoid those mistakes. If you were to start over your personal brand, what mistakes would you avoid? What have you encountered along the way that have been like, shit, I hope nobody else has to go through that. I hope nobody else has to deal with that. Let me know in the comments. I'll see y'all in the next one. I'm out.